There are places in history that whisper louder than ruins. Places that once held the very soul of human knowledge. 2,000 years ago, in the ancient city of Alexandria, stood a sanctuary unlike any other. A temple, not of gods, but of wisdom. They called it the Great Library. Within its walls were scrolls that spoke of worlds long forgotten, maps of lands unseen, equations of stars before telescopes ever existed, medicine that could have saved generations, secrets that could have changed the very course of humanity. But then, one night, it was gone. Fire consumed its shelves, smoke erased its memory, and history was left with silence. Did mankind truly lose the key to its own future that night? Or was it taken, hidden, protected? This is the story of the lost Library of Alexandria, a story of ambition, betrayal, and a mystery that still haunts the world. Chapter 1. The Birth of the Library. It began with a dream. A dream of Alexander the Great, to build a city that would outlive empires. A city where knowledge itself would be king. When Alexander died, that dream did not die with him. His general, Ptolemy I, carried the torch. And in the great harbor of Egypt, a new vision rose from the sands, the Library of Alexandria. It was no ordinary building. It was a vault for the wisdom of the world. Every ship that entered the harbor was searched. Every scroll, every book, every scrap of writing was copied. The originals were locked away. The copies returned. Soon, thousands of scrolls filled its halls. Stories of forgotten kingdoms, secrets of medicine and the human body, maps that stretched beyond the known world, ideas that could shatter the limits of the mind. The library was not just a collection of books. It was a weapon, a crown jewel of knowledge that could decide the fate of nations. Kings, scholars, priests, and travelers all came to Alexandria. Here, wisdom was power, and power was dangerous. But as the shelves grew heavier, so too did the shadows of envy and fear. For what one man calls enlightenment, another calls heresy. And the brighter the flame of knowledge burns, the darker the forces that rise to extinguish it. Chapter 2. The knowledge it held. Imagine walking through its halls, row upon row, scrolls stacked like veins of gold, each one a universe of secrets. They say the library held over 500,000 scrolls, texts from Egypt, Greece, Babylon, India, and even lands beyond. It was the first attempt to collect the entire memory of mankind in one place. Inside those fragile rolls of papyrus were writings on medicine that rivaled modern science. Formulas for healing wounds, for curing disease, for easing pain. There were scrolls on astronomy, charts of the stars, predictions of eclipses, mathematics that could calculate the heavens themselves. There were whispers of lost civilizations, Atlantean myths, ancient maps that suggested the world was larger than anyone dared believe. Some even claimed the library held texts of forbidden magic, spells of the Egyptians, rituals of the Chaldeans, secrets of the priests of forgotten gods. To walk through those corridors was to walk through the mind of humanity itself. But knowledge is never innocent. Knowledge is power, and power invites fear. The kings of Alexandria guarded it jealously, for in those scrolls lay the blueprints of inventions not yet born, machines of war, weapons of fire, tools that could change the balance of the world. If these secrets fell into the wrong hands, empires could crumble. And so, the library stood not just as a beacon of wisdom, but as a fortress that one day would face its greatest enemy, not from the outside, but from the chaos of men and the hunger of flames. Chapter 3. The Mysterious Destruction. Greatness rarely dies in silence, and neither did the Library of Alexandria. But history does not agree on how it died. Some say it was not one fire, not one moment, but a slow bleeding over centuries. The first blow came with Julius Caesar. In 48 BC, his ships were cornered in the harbor of Alexandria. To survive, he set fire to the enemy fleet. But fire has no master. Flames leapt from the docks to the warehouses, and finally, to the library itself. Thousands of scrolls turned to ash. Smoke rose into the Egyptian sky, carrying centuries of wisdom with it. Yet, the library lived on, damaged, but not destroyed. Later came Emperor Aurelian, waging war within the city's walls. Streets burned, temples fell, and with them, parts of the library's soul. Then, in the 4th century, the tides of faith shifted. Pagan knowledge was declared dangerous. Bishop Theophilus led the purge of pagan temples. Many believed the library, or what remained of it, was shattered in those days. Not by accident, but by intention. And still, the story does not end. In the 7th century, when the armies of Islam swept across Egypt, some chroniclers whisper that the last remnants were destroyed, that the scrolls were burned as fuel for the city's baths. But even this tale is disputed. No one knows for certain. Did the library fall in one tragic night of fire? Or was it devoured piece by piece over centuries of neglect, greed, and fear? What is certain is that knowledge died. Hundreds of thousands of voices silenced. Ideas, inventions, cures, histories, all reduced to embers. Imagine a single scroll holding the cure for a plague, a forgotten formula that could have changed the destiny of mankind, gone in a heartbeat of flame. The library did not simply burn, it was murdered. By war, by politics, by fear, and the crime scene was swept away by time. Chapter 4. What was lost? To measure the loss is to measure the unknown. What exactly was inside those scrolls? No one can say for certain, but legends whisper louder than facts. Some believe the library held texts from ancient Egypt itself. The secrets of building the pyramids, formulas of alchemy, knowledge passed down from civilizations even older than the pharaohs. Others claim writings from India and China rested on its shelves. Mathematics centuries ahead of their time. Philosophies of the universe. Medicines that could have cured diseases long before modern science even named them. There are tales of scrolls from the Greek world, works of philosophers, scientists, dramatists, many of whom we know only through fragments today. What if entire volumes of Aristotle, Sophocles, or Archimedes are gone forever? And then, the most tantalizing whispers. Maps of the wider world. Charts suggesting that ancient sailors may have reached the Americas long before Columbus. Descriptions of lost continents, perhaps even Atlantis itself. But the greatest loss may not be what was inside. It was what could have been. Imagine if humanity had not been forced to rediscover, but to build upon what was already known. Could the Renaissance have happened 1,000 years earlier? Could the Industrial Revolution have come in the age of Rome? Could mankind already be reaching the stars? The truth is, we will never know. The fire that consumed those scrolls did not just burn paper. It burned centuries of progress. It burned alternate futures. And in that silence, humanity was forced to start again, to crawl back toward the light, without the map it once held in its hands. Chapter 5. The Legacy and Mystery Today. The Library of Alexandria may be gone, but its shadow still lingers. For centuries, scholars, archaeologists, and dreamers have searched. They dig beneath the streets of modern Alexandria, hoping to find even a single chamber, a single scroll, a single whisper from the past. In 2002, a new library was built, the Bibliotheca Alexandrina, a modern monument to the dream that once was. It holds millions of books, digital archives, research centers. But even here, the ghost of the original looms larger, because no matter how vast the collection, it cannot fill the void of what was lost. And so the library remains, not just a ruin of history, but a riddle. Was it truly destroyed? Or do fragments survive, hidden in monasteries, vaults, or private collections? Could a forgotten scroll still lie buried, waiting to rewrite history? Some believe the secrets never vanished, only scattered. That pieces of Alexandria's knowledge were carried east, into Persia, or west, into the libraries of Rome, quietly shaping the world we know today. Others whisper darker theories, that the most dangerous texts were hidden, suppressed, kept away from mankind forever. What if the library's greatest secret was not simply knowledge, but knowledge mankind was never meant to have? We may never know the truth. And perhaps that is the greatest mystery of all, because the Library of Alexandria was not just a building. It was a symbol, a reminder that wisdom is fragile, that truth can burn, that entire futures can vanish in the smoke of a single fire. And so we are left with a haunting question. If the library still stood today, what kind of world would we be living in? The flames of Alexandria may have turned scrolls to ash, but the questions they left behind still burn. What other secrets of the ancient world remain hidden? What other mysteries wait to be uncovered beneath sand, stone, and time? This was only one story, one throne lost in the darkness of history. If you wish to journey deeper into the forgotten, the forbidden, and the untold, then join us here on Lost Thrones, where every legend hides a secret, and every secret hides the truth.